Okay, today we're going to talk about Street Trash. Jim Murrow directed film, written, produced by the great New York-based independent filmmaker, journalist, writer extraordinaire Roy Frumkes, 1987. Though I think it was in the making for a little while. A pretty simple story about this liquor store that sells this tenafly viper alcohol that is toxic and causes the people that drink it to melt. So there is this crazy horror story which is at the center of this film, which is basically about the hood in New York and the people and the things that are surrounding it, kind of. And there is this guy who is kind of down on his luck, and he is just trying to navigate this. And there is a junkyard where everybody kind of congregates, and so there's the toughs and the drunks, and at the center of this we have kind of this horror story of all these bums who are being disintegrated in gruesome, horrible ways. So a New York independent horror film, a weird, wild film of the mid to late 80s. A great film, a film that has a reputation, quite a reputation. In the 80s, it had hell of a reputation, and I think the reputation is even a little bit better than the movie itself. Because rewatching it, I mean, I like it, I enjoy it. I think the recent Blu-ray, which I got, is incredible. But I, I don't know. I don't. It's actually there's some funny stuff. There's some crazy stuff. I mean, some of the bums are just kind of crazy, and it's got the early performance from James Lorenz of Frankenhooker later on, and so forth. So it feels like kind of an extension of what Henenlotter was doing with his New York films, New York-based horror, strange, outre films. But it's a more well-made film. I mean, it's got a lot of Steadicam in it. It was directed by this guy Jimmy Murrow, James Murrow, sorry, went on to become one of the big Hollywood Steadicam operator. He's James Cameron's Steadicam operator. He operated on JFK and The Doors and The Abyss and Gone in 60 Seconds. So many damn movies. He's one of the key Steadicam operators. Dances with Wolves. Some really actually fundamentally good stuff, like incredible shots in those films as well. There's a reason why he's one of the main Steadicam guys. And there's a lot of fluid, cinematography and stuff in this film, which is almost a little too good for what it should be. It should look a little more rough, but there's this kind of the cohesiveness to it that's pleasantly surprising, actually. The Blu-ray has a lot of extras. The commentary, it's got that large, I think it was called the Meltdown Diaries. Roy Frumkes spent, I think, over a year, if not even more, um, doing this, putting together this documentary, and with all the surviving cast members and everybody, and getting them there. Um, and then the Tenafly Viper, the early DVDs of this came with a sticker where you could put on a bottle and make it Tenafly Viper. It was great. And the poster art is incredible. And again, it's like, even if you don't love the movie, you gotta love that artwork. Incredible film. We forget about it. We forget about Street Trash sometimes. I think, and it's a cool movie. It is a cool movie. It's again, it's part of that class of movies, those horror, sci-fi, action films in New York in the mid to late 80s that are just so special. Films which were kind of grindhouse movies, but they were like post-grindhouse. They were where the people who made these films, like Roy Frumkes and Henenlotter and whatever, they knew about they were going to 42nd Street and it was kind of feedbacking into their young filmmaking minds. And so they were making these types of films, kind of second generation Grindhouse stuff. And there's really, I guess the third generation is what people inspired by, whether Robert Rodriguez is inspired by, whatever. I don't know. It seems like the second generation was pretty much it, because, at the end of the 80s, the Grindhouses died out. We're dead. 42nd Street was eviscerated. And so this film kind of comes toward the end of that still. But you get a lot of the sleaze and the atmosphere and the mobsters and all this. And I love it. And I love the end song. I love that. It's a fun movie and a great Blu-ray. Worth checking out.